company will do First Take. Flashback Friday. It was on this day 4 years ago that man, Tom Brady, won his 7th and final Super Bowl, beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Brady threw for 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to Rob Gronkowski, the other 2 Antonio Brown, as the Buccaneers blew out Mahomes and the Chiefs. 31-9 was the final. Again, that was 4 years ago today. We'll see where this week winds up taking us. Let's get quick final thoughts before we get quick picks here on the Super Bowl. Shefty, what notes and things do you have in mind as we look forward?
We're talking all about the Hall of Fame and the legacies that people leave behind. This is the game that always defines people's legacies. Think about all the people in the Philadelphia organization that could be uplifted by a victory like this. What would it do for Jalen Hurts? What would it do for Nick Sirianni? What would it do for Howie Roseman? What would it do for all these people? And it would just further cement the legacy of an already rich Chiefs legacy if they find a way to win the game. And, oh, by the way, Jalen Carter, who's been limited in practice this week, he's good to go for Sunday Super Bowl.
Another one, Saquon Barkley. We talk about Hall of Fame conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
A win here could put Saquon Barkley in the Hall of Fame. It could be the greatest individual season that any running back has ever had, and that's the kind of thing that people tend to remember after that. And, of course, on Monday, we're going to be here in New Orleans doing Get Up on Monday. And we could be talking about the first team ever to three-peat in this spot in the modern era of pro football and where that will place, I think, really 2 people in particular. Not just Patrick Mahomes, but Andy Reid as well.
It'll be the greatest dynasty in sport. They win 3. It's a great in sport, and I mean categorically, this would be an incredible feat. They end up three-peating.
Yeah, the ability to adapt to the circumstances and find different ways to win is the most impressive part.
Yeah.
Okay, so will you bring the beignets out, please? We're going to do their picks today, New Orleans style. RC, for those who are not familiar, can you explain what a beignet is?
Yeah, a beignet is basically just fried dough with sugar.
Oh. It does smell
from here.
It smells so good, though.
So Shefty doesn't make picks, but he will enjoy the beignets nonetheless. So here's how we're going to do
going last, Greeny.
No one said anything about eating them, Jeff.
You didn't have to ask me.
We're going to plant the flag.
Some donuts up in front.
So we have an Eagles flag. Each of us has an Eagles flag and a Chiefs flag, and you're going to plant your flag, the one that you think is going to win. So, RC, you're first up here on my list.
I don't want to go first.
You got to go. No, that's Cindy is ready for you.
Okay, so here's the thing. The Philadelphia Eagles have the better roster overall.
Mm-hmm.
The Kansas City Chiefs have the quarterback and the D coordinator and the coach that I trust the most.
Right.
But I'm going to go with the Eagles.
But turn it around, so the TV can see it. There we go.
So I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I'm going with the underdog.
Fly, Eagles, fly, says RC. Dominique, how about you?
Yeah, I like what RC is saying, and I feel him. But, I mean, on Monday morning, the only pick that would embarrass me is if I said that Patrick Mahomes lost the Super Bowl. So I am going to say that trusting Patrick Mahomes in this moment is pretty safe.
Sounds like our crowd is slanted towards the Eagles. Right. And I'm easily influenced by fear.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
So I have picked Kansas City this entire week. And I had a genius that I sat beside yesterday who looked at me and said, you talk all the time about O-line, D-line. Yeah, it is Dominique Foxworth who was the genius. How are you not going to make the pick when you think they – and you know what?
Running game. You talk about the running game.
I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I flip my pick.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly. That's what we're going to do. I can stand it on Monday. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I've had a similar experience. Everyone is eating the beignets. I've had a similar experience. I started the week, and you're going to see that this is going to contradict the pick that I made because they asked me, our PR department asked me for a pick at the beginning of the week, and I picked the Chiefs because my thinking was, how do you pick against Patrick Mahomes? You can't do it. But then I hosted this show every day this week, and I've had like 12 football analysts on, and every conversation leans towards Philadelphia. Every conversation leads to how balanced they are offensively, how they can beat you almost no matter what it is that you try to do to them with your defense. And then they're as great as Kansas City's defense has been during the second half of this run. I think the Eagles are stronger on that side of it as well. So while it scares me to death to do it, I'm going to pick the Eagles.
And Greeny's now, and here's the great part. Greeny can't be wrong. He's now picked both.
That's exactly right.
I have two in fact,
I am now embarrassed that I am the only football player up here who is making a non-football decision. I'm not banking on magic. I'm going with Thompson.
There we go.
Let's go.
There we go. There we go. Yes.
birds. That's why I want to green. There we go. Fly, Eagles fly. Man, it's sure gonna suck when they show this on Monday.
I know. It's going to be brutal. It'll be on the Kansas City social.
It's a hilarious thing. This graphic, yesterday, all of us picked the Chiefs.
I flip-flopped.
So that is a great lesson for all the journalism students who are here. Just pick both sides. That way you can't possibly be wrong.
I wish that you could quantify how valuable that is, but this guy does it over and over, and what that allows is every teammate to feel the same way. Let's just make the next play happen. And you see the way whether it was Travis Kelce when they had 13 seconds left in the AFC Championship game against the Bills, they have these conversations, they trust each other, they execute the next play, find ways to win.
But back to Nick's point, so if the Bills are paid, we don't have to worry about the lights going out in the Superdome on Sunday. Right?
We hope.
Mahomes wasn't playing in that Super Bowl.
That's right.
And the other thing about pressure is, I think there was more pressure on the season than there will be on this game.
Yeah.
Right? Because the entire season, you have to win a certain amount of games. You have to win in
Even
the playoffs.
with the history on the line?
To give yourself a chance, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to give yourself a chance. And now that you've gotten to this point, and Jeff knows this, it's more nerve-wracking to play in the championship games than it is the Super Bowl, because you're like, if I don't win today, I don't get a chance.
Yeah.
And so once you get the chance, it's about performing that night. And I think the thing that's special about Patrick Mahomes is he's the best individual player we've seen have this level of team success early on in his career.
I got one more D's note, and this one involves the other quarterback in this game, and that's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going. This one has been remarkable. Thank you, sir. This one has been remarkable to me. Jalen Hurts is the first starting quarterback to lose his Super Bowl debut and then get back to the game since Jim Kelly.
Wow.
That is just remarkable to me. And what you are seeing here is the entire list of quarterbacks that lost the first time they got to the Super Bowl and then ever wound up winning it. You have to go all the way back to Elway for the most recent one. So history has not been kind. No one, if you were just asked how many times has that happened, I think you would have said, oh, it's happened a million times. Guys make it, they lose, they get back. That's not the way this tends to work.
One of the interesting things that Jeff and I talked about on my show yesterday was how we all revert back to thinking that Mahomes and the Chiefs have such an experience advantage because they are in this game all the time. But then you think about it, it's Mahomes and Kelce. It's not Mahomes and these receivers. And then you look over at the Eagles and you say, actually, you know who the quarterback receiver combos that have experience in these big games? It's Hurts and it's Smith and it's Brown. And it's an interesting way to approach this because we always assume that the teams that's going to be more comfortable making the adjustment is going to be Mahomes and his guys. But outside of Kelce, he's got a lot of guys that haven't been in this moment. And it's the opposite for Jalen Hurts. These guys were here together, and not only were they here, they balled. Both those receivers had near 100 yards, and Jalen Hurts had 300 yards passing. So I just think that we assume because the Chiefs are always here that their receivers and their quarterback have the same connection. It's not true.
Well, the Eagles have been waiting for this chance. But you mentioned the Chiefs. You mentioned Mahomes and Kelce. How about Andy Reid in this spot? How about Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, in this spot? How about Chris Jones, right? How about those guys, right?
That's what's big.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys have made a huge difference. Steve Spagnuolo has had enormous success in the postseason, in the Super Bowl, and to me, he is already a Hall of Famer.
Yes,
and he will punch his ticket on Sunday with another victory.
He going to get Eli in the Hall of Fame.
No, I was thinking the same exact thing.
Stopping Brady in that. And so how about that side of it, though? It is pretty – history suggests the quarterback gets to the game and loses. He does not wind up ever winning it in his career. Again, Elway is the last guy to do that.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Eagles, the plan is in place. The way they need to execute is in place. It's going and doing it. It's staying true to who you are. Don't change in the moment. Don't become who you're not. You watch James Cook not get touches at the end of the game. You watch Joe Mixon not be used by the Houston. Like, at some point, be who you are and ride with it. I think when the Eagles do that, and then when
they'll try again, 2nd and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. And he's taken down. This will be a Browns sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people would think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback, 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
On 3rd and long, it's Smith escaping the pressure right. Slings this deep. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Capital and FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. They love their football in this part of the country, and this crowd is ready to go as their guys will match up with the Buffalo Bills. Two teams more than ready to get this one started. And we are underway from FedEx Field. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Pretty decent game. Other quarterbacks, they have a hard time getting past it and often put the ball up for grabs the rest of the ball game.
And a productive gain out to the 14 after starting at the 7. It's a gain of 7. 7 yards the pick up there. 3 yards remain for 2nd down. Fitzpatrick now. Slings this deep from McLaurin. It got his man complete. And all the way down to the 24-yard line. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute cannon shot, and he still dropped it right on the money, too.
And that ball traveling 68 yards in the air, according to Next. Bringing it out of his end zone, Isaiah. And all deep in his own territory. He coughs up the football.
That's what it is, baby. That's
and
what
he
it
will
is.
score. Touchdown, Washington. John Bates. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And Washington has tied the ball game with the extra point still to come. Now it's Hopkins to add the extra point. And with that, his guys take the lead here by a point.